Remember the last time you felt like you were staring at a single point, not a single thought in your head, and you became aware of this state. Sometimes you wish it lasted a little longer, but as always, focus is restored and your brain starts working again. This state of serenity and calm lasts only a moment. It's a kind of reboot. A reboot that our minds, weighed down by thoughts, so desperately need. Afterward, when you return to normal, you continue to live in the reality in which you're currently living. Or you may be overwhelmed by various feelings, especially nostalgic moments from your life. And that's awesome.
What does it really feel like? It happens to everyone, we just rarely notice. Some experience it standing in the shower, watching the water trickle down the tiles. Others experience it in the subway, when the train is stopped for a long time between stations and you simply stare at the black glass reflecting your own gaze. Others experience it on the balcony at night, when the city is already asleep and you're smoking or simply drinking cold tea. At this moment, the brain seems to let go of all its ropes. The inner voice that usually comments on everything, I need to write to so-and-so, I'm doing everything wrong again, what if I get fired, suddenly falls silent. All that remains is your breathing, the warmth of your mug in your hands, and the sound of the rain outside. And in this silence, a strange, almost childish feeling of peace.
What the greats said about this. The ancient Greeks called this state pure, aimless contemplation. Aristotle considered it the highest form of human activity, even above politics and war. In Buddhism, it is the tranquility of the mind, the first step to enlightenment. Lao Tzu wrote in the Tao Te Ching, "To reach the limit of emptiness, to maintain perfect tranquility, that is the whole point."
In the 20th century, Martin Heidegger spoke of Gelassenheit, release, letting go. He believed that only when we stop constantly grasping the world with our thoughts does the world finally reveal itself to us as it is.
Even modern neuroscience confirms that when we're not thinking about anything, the so-called default mode network of the brain is activated. At this point, the brain isn't sleeping, it's doing a thorough cleaning, associating memories, processing emotions, and generating creative ideas.
Why are we so afraid of this emptiness, yet we run from it like the plague? As soon as there's even a moment of silence, we immediately grab our phone. Why? Because silence is honest. It doesn't lie. As soon as the familiar noise of thoughts disappears, questions we've been pushing into the back of our minds for years immediately surface. Am I even living my own life or someone else's? Why am I doing all this? Who would I be if I stopped being afraid?
Blaise Pascal famously wrote in the 17th century, "All human misery stems from one single thing, the fact that they don't know how to sit quietly in their own room." 400 years later, we still haven't learned. Only now, instead of a room, we have endless scrolling, TV shows playing in the background, podcasts even in the shower. We're afraid to be alone with ourselves because we're afraid to discover that there, inside, there's long been emptiness.
What happens when we finally allow ourselves to switch off? First, the brain begins to defragment, like an old hard drive. Second, we return to the body. We notice how we breathe, how a warm mug warms our palms, how the rain taps on the windowsill. Third, space appears. Not euphoria or delight, but space.
as if someone removed unnecessary furniture from the room in our head, and it became easier to breathe. Small practices that bring us back to this state in great detail. You don't need to go to a Tibetan monastery. A few minutes a day is enough. In the morning, don't pick up your phone for the first 10 minutes after waking up. Just lie down and stare at the ceiling. Wash the dishes without music or a podcast. Just feel the warm water and the slippery soap. Walk the longest way to the store without headphones. Listen to the city. Sit on a park bench and look at people without judging or making up stories about them. Just look. And before bed, stare into the darkness for 3 minutes and count your exhalations.
This isn't meditation without a mat or a timer. It's a meditation on life. The next time you catch yourself staring out the window and thinking about nothing, don't scold yourself. Don't immediately open your phone. Give thanks. It's your brain, your body, and perhaps the universe itself quietly reminding you you don't have to constantly run, prove, improve, or produce. Sometimes it's enough to simply be. And in this simply being lies all the wisdom sought for millennia.